So I've been training now for almost 15 years, and I still see the same advice thrown around now compared to 15 years ago that is just wrong and misleading. And sometimes people don't even necessarily know that the advice they're giving is incorrect. Now, I've just written this all down on my phone because I'll get asked these things initially by several clients when they first start working with me, and the same questions keep popping up time and time again. I know I used to believe some of these myself, and I also knew how much it used to waste my time or distract me from focusing on the things that are actually important. So I'm going to go over them with you today. And inside this video, you should have more clarity about what you should be focusing on in the gym to get better results by the end of this video. Now, firstly, if you're new here, my name is Jacob. I've been a coach now for over 10 years. I've worked with over 1,000 clients to date for all over the world, helping them get in the best shape of their life. Everything I cover inside this channel is really what I've been implementing myself over the last 10 or 15 years, as well as what I've been doing with my clients to help them get the results like some of the ones you can see on screen now. So let's get straight into this. Here's probably some of the worst advice I've heard. You need to confuse the muscle. There's this idea that every few weeks you should be changing your workout programs or doing different things to shock the muscle into some form of change. This goes totally against what you actually need to do. What you need to do is get extremely good at a particular exercise in terms of the technique, the control, the range of motion, and then consistently progress that movement for several weeks. If you're constantly chopping and changing your program, the reality is you're going to struggle to actually progress an exercise and get the most out of it. Yes, when you change up the program, you may notice that you're slightly more sore than normal. This is because you could be doing an exercise that's a similar variation to what it was before, but maybe at a slightly different angle, and it requires a different type of stability element to it, or whatever it is. But the reality is that you need to get good at that one movement and keep progressing that movement. So have a group of exercises, put these together inside your program, stick to it for a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks and keep progressing these exercises. You'll see way better results. The next one then is more workouts is better. I've had several clients come to me where they're trying to train almost every day to get better results because they're not really seeing results from what they're already doing, so they're just trying to increase the amount in which they're doing. But the thing is with strength training, better is better, not more is better. You could honestly train 6 days a week for 90 minutes to 2 hours and actually get better results training 3 or 4 days a week for maybe an hour if you're more intentional and specific with what you are doing. The biggest factor when it comes to seeing results in the gym is consistent exercise progressions. And if you are not getting recovery in between your workouts, you'll probably find it difficult to keep progressing these exercises. So yes, while you do need to be putting in effort in the gym, and more often than not, someone that's just started training would probably benefit actually off of being there in a little bit more frequently, so they're not going to be training to the intensity in which they would like. Over a period of time, anywhere between 3 to 4 days, maximum 5 a week, for 45 to 60 minutes is all you're really going to need. And if you are training more frequently, just make sure that training intensity is still going up and recovery is still being managed. Another one then is you can turn fat into muscle. A lot of people have this idea that, oh, my weight's not moving recently, so maybe all the fat that I have is turning into muscle. The reality is you are never going to outpace your fat loss with muscle gain. It takes a lot longer to gain lean tissue than it does to lose body fat. And not to forget, they are two totally separate compounds. You increase muscle by getting stronger, and the muscles adapt to that level of performance, and you reduce body fat by simply eating less, and your body uses this as an energy store to keep you functioning. So if anything, separate the two. Look at your diet and general movement to help with the fat loss side of things, and then look at what you're doing in the gym in terms of you increasing your overall strength and performance to build more lean tissue. Another big one would be that I'm not sore, so I don't think I've had a good workout. The reality is soreness doesn't always equal a good session. I mean, you should sometimes feel something, otherwise you're probably not training hard enough, but the reality is you don't have to come out the gym feeling like you just caned yourself every single workout. If anything, sometimes an excessive amount of soreness is actually not productive. And if you're not recovering effectively, this is going to get in the way of future progressions with your workouts and, of course, increase the likelihood of you getting injured. So rather than just defining a workout, whether it was good on the basis that you're really sore, look at the overall progressions inside of that session. And if it's progressing from one week to the next, you're doing what you need to be doing in order to see results. So this brings me on to my last two, and these are probably the two most interesting. Fat burning zone for cardio. Most people are at this idea that if they work in a low intensity state, that it's the fat burning state. And if they work too hard, it's actually not good for burning body fat. But where people have got confused with this is that the actual substrate in which they're burning is fat, not physical body fat. So I'm going to go into a bit more detail now to explain this. What this basically means is when you're working at a higher intensity and your heart rate is elevated for a period of time, the main energy source that you use is carbohydrates. It's fast release energy and it allows you to perform to a higher intensity. When you are training at a steady state, you're predominantly burning fat. But this is substrate utilization, and you are using fat as fuel, not body fat as fuel, which are two totally separate entities. And the only physical way of actually burning body fat would be to have a calorie deficit consistently put in place. Now, I do think there are benefits to doing more steady state cardio than high intensity, but this is purely because that you can do it more repeatably and you will recover faster. Therefore, over time, there'll be more longevity behind this when it comes to your overall routine and results. But the reality is, if you are working out harder, you are burning more calories per minute, which would technically be better for fat loss on the onset. You just have to bear in mind that higher intensity workouts require more recovery time and potentially will affect your energy and your appetite a bit more so. And the very last one then would be that you need to sweat in order to burn body fat, or the more sweaty I get, the more calories I'm burning, something along them lines. But a lot of people think that sweat leads to some form of fat loss progression. All it is simply your body cooling itself down, and if anything, you will lose weight afterwards because you are more dehydrated. You have simply lost water. There's no direct correlation between you getting more sweaty and you losing body fat faster. In some instances, it means you're working harder potentially, but there are also other instances where it doesn't. You could be sat on a deck chair on holiday in the heat and start sweating. This doesn't mean that it's optimal or great for fat loss. And if anything, if you've been sweating a lot, this needs to be replaced as you've just lost a lot of fluid. So hopefully that's busted at least one myth that you may have heard of before. And if you have any other questions, I'd love to hear. Put them in the comments of the video and I'll either answer you or potentially even make another video around this topic. Now, if you found this video helpful, like and subscribe to the channel, as I'm putting out content now every single week to help you on your journey to getting in better shape this year. And finally, if you're looking for some more support and accountability and a personalized routine built by me, then tap on the link in the description of this video and I'll walk you through step by step how I've helped hundreds of people achieve results like you can see on screen right now. I'll see you in the next video.